Hello once again, people, and welcome to the final multiplayer level of Q2. As I basically said before, we would have a little multiplayer marathon and then 2 single-player levels. So yes, we are 3 levels away from the end of Q2, starting with this video. And this is the final multiplayer level in the cycle. So yeah, we're getting very, very close to the end. And therefore, it's very, very nice to basically finish it all up and look at what we exactly have to offer and get to something else that's hopefully a little better. Anyway, let's load up this thing here. Um, Today we're checking out, as I said, extreme measures. Not sure what that's going to offer at all. Last time around, it was an exclusive to the multiplayer setup. Some weird fun bots there, but whatever. And yeah, we'll see exactly what exactly this level is. Because I honestly don't know! Oh boy, more crystal texture. I tell you, I keep talking about the fact that there's these levels that keep having them, and then they add another level that has these. This crystal texture is like everywhere in Q2, I swear. But I digress! It seems like this is gonna be another one of those loop levels. I'm not sure if this is in a single player level or not, though. I can't really tell what level this is. This is a weird one. And the fact that it just really doesn't ring a bell. I think this one wasn't, wait a minute, you know what? This level is somewhat similar to the last one we played. It's different in geometry, but somewhat similar. I think it's basically a giant loop that goes around, kind of like one of the single player levels we saw, but it's different. So yeah, I think this is another exclusive to multiplayer. Extreme measures. But yeah, it's at this point it basically all the geometry looks pretty similar. It's all loops. It's all very, very similar, so I would understand if it doesn't look that significant to you, but it is different geometry. At least a bit different from what we normally play, so that is a thing, right? Right, guys? It is a thing, somehow. Somehow. So, yeah, as I basically was trying to say, it's basically just kind of like a chaotic little loop. Weird that they actually have the nail gun and not the super nail gun here. You know, usually in these type of levels, you end up with the super nail gun and they ignore the regular nail gun. This one's ignoring the regular nail gun in favor, well, the super nail gun in favor of the regular nail gun. Weird. But, yeah, that's really the level. I know, nothing spectacular, but it's a level! And it's another exclusive, as I kind of figured it would be. I kind of completely forget the level itself. Unlike Condemn, this level doesn't really ring a bell to me. I think I know I did it. I knew I read it up, but it's a very, very forgettable level, even more so than the last one. Mainly because probably the crystal texture. I really don't like that crystal texture because it's so overused in Q2 to the point that really it's basically seeing that texture in any level just makes it feel like more of the same. I mean, all textures in Q2 are used over and over and over again, but the crystal texture in particular seems like it's excessively shoved down our throat. I mean, it feels like almost every other level is a crystal level. I know not in truthfulness that it is, but I swear that if you were to look into it or whatnot, that you'd find that there's like statistically more crystal levels than any other type because it feels way, way too common. And other than that, really, it's just your generic level. It's basically another loop. It's another NASCAR-based level. If you notice the design, it was one loop. Pretty much like every other level we've really been bothering with lately. So yeah, even though it's different in geometry, it really isn't anything spectacular because it's a loop. And we've seen loops. We've seen plenty of loops. So yeah, it ends up just kind of feeling like another level that basically, even though it's different geometry, it's the same idea. And so that gets pretty much nowhere. um, but as I said, it's probably one of the last geometry based ideas they added to Q2, so it probably was like, let's shove this in there or so, and all they can really think of is really loops and random linear levels. So it really comes as no surprise. Um, but yeah, this definitely shows exactly why Q2 and multiplayer do not mix together. Because if you think a linear loop around a map is a good multiplayer adventure, I don't know what to tell you. um, Linearity and multiplayer just do not go well together. It's a bit better than say like the linear maps, which are just one direction, but it still is rather linear with the fact that you can really only go backwards or forwards. So yeah. Anyway, as I said, this is the last level in this whole multiplayer sequence. And what an anticlimactic way to end it. I mean, at least we do get to see some new geometry, but I know I keep saying this, but the fact of the matter that it does so much that we've seen before to death, it doesn't feel that special. It really doesn't. Um, And I guess that's kind of why it's good Q2's kind of ending, because at this point they've seemed like they've really fully ran out of ideas. Even when trying to make new levels, it's basically the same thing as they've been doing. I know basically all of Q2 looks alike, but at least they had like different generic ideas. They had different general setups of how things would work. Um it mostly came down to like three different styles or so with hubs and whatnot. But you did have some different interconnectivity, different ways to go. And so having a loop, I don't know, just feels even more constrained and even more anticlimactic than usual. Like I said, we've seen loops before, but luckily, they were kind of few and far between. And so seeing the final few levels of Q2 have basically loops, and this one be even more um, one dimensional than the previous level, makes it pretty much like a pretty depressing ending. But I digress. Anyway, thank you very much all for watching. Next time around, we'll check out the single player missions that are remaining. And until then, adios.